All right, so before we get to my thrilling oratory on conference logistics, there's just one thing that I want to take care of. So, obviously today marks the beginning of our 73rd NANOG meeting. And it occurred to me as I was preparing these remarks that we often use the opening to look only to the future. We don't often pause and use the perspective that this moment affords to examine just how far we've come and the people that have made this journey possible. You see, we've been at this now for nearly 25 years. And not so few years ago, thanks to unwavering support from our friends at Aaron, NANOG was just taking its first steps as an independent entity. We were cash poor, and we were really brand new at what we're doing now. And as we fast forward to today, there are over 1,000 of you out there in the audience. There's more on the live stream. We have 58 incredible sponsors, and as usual, a spectacular program curated by the program committee. By any number of benchmarks, these last few years have been the most successful in NANOG's entire history, and I think the community, the professional staff, and especially Betty Burke deserve a huge round of applause for that. As we look back through the bad times and the good, we see a steadfastness in NANOG, a stabilizing, consistent presence that's often felt gently but unmistakably from the periphery of the conference, emanating from the core of what NANOG is. You see, it's within Betty Burke that the heart of NANOG truly beats, not of her own volition, but because of her unswerving dedication to the belief that serving the needs of our members, sponsors, attendees, and partners is what's enabled us to achieve such an unprecedented level of success. This kind of dedication to NANOG's mission is no accident. Betty has been with us since the very beginning. And what you see before you now, in this room, years later, bears the imprint of her unmistakable style, approachable, conciliatory, and always dedicated. Late in 2016, Betty made a request to the board. She wanted to step back from the role of executive director and asked us to hire her replacement. Just a few short months later, now in 2018, I'm sure a bit later than she was originally intending, we've done that. We've hired a new ED. His name is Edward McNair, and you'll get a chance to meet him during the general session later today during a Q&A session. And as Betty helps to bring Edward up to speed and distances herself more and more from the role of executive director, I stand up here, I look at everything that we've achieved, and I can't help but reflect on the degree to which all of us have been shaped by Betty's influence. If Betty is NANOG's heart, then volunteers comprise its blood. And Betty has seen so many of us come and go during her tenure, mentoring us, showing us patience and grace, and helping us and the organization grow. And I'm always a fan of calisthenics during the opening. Would those of you that have volunteered for NANOG in any capacity, at any time, in any role, stand up for me? It's a lot of you. Okay, now this is the fun part. Could you please join me up here, just on either side of the stage? Come on up, come on. Calisthenics, like I said, let's go. Just kind of fill in either side of the stage, it's perfect. And if I could also have the current board up here on stage with me and the professional staff as well. Come on up, come on. And finally, Ms. Burke, if I could have you up here also. That's okay, that's fine. Come on, Betty. You gotta stand up here, not in the back. Betty, this is one of the most bittersweet moments of my career. You've shown me kindness, patience, and true partnership. You've mentored each and every one of us and emboldened us to make ourselves in this industry better for those that follow. We celebrate your contributions, your leadership, and your undeniable legacy. Know that wherever your journey takes you, we stand together with you, as you have always stood together with us. Thank you so much for what you've given us. Thank you, Betty. Tuesday. Thank you, everyone.
Tuesday. I'll never be back.
All right, now for the fun stuff. Registration, I actually think this number is old. We are at 1,037, I believe. So I was not lying when I said there's over 1,000 of you out there in the audience. I believe we have 1,100 chairs in here. Reminder, please wear your badge. We're kind of serious about this. Assume that if it's an NANOG-sponsored event, you need to have your badge on to get in there, so please just keep it with you. Per usual, we have 3 days of fantastic content, so please come in, pay attention, engage. The more the merrier. And obviously, we have our ongoing commitment to supporting our new operators. We have our college immersion program, as well as scholarships. And as I said, we have 58 sponsors for this meeting. That is outstanding. So to our sponsors, thank you. And let's have a round of applause for them as well. Okay, could I get a show of hands for everyone in the audience that is a member? Oh, there's a lot of hands not raised. Okay, so this is a pitch for you people. Membership gets you discounted meeting registration. It gets you stuff at the meeting. It's great stuff. You want this stuff. It gets you recognition on the website. It gets you headshots. And most importantly, when I term out as board chair in October, it gives you the right to vote for my replacement and the 2 open seats that are going to come up on the board. So please engage with the community. Please become a member. Please vote. We want your engagement. We need your engagement to keep NANOG healthy and viable. Oh, and you can also join today and join us at the members' breakfast tomorrow morning. So if you're interested, please come approach me. I'll point you in the right direction to become a member. You can also do it on the website. Okay, yesterday we had a hackathon sponsored by Juniper. It was very well attended. Thank you very much, Juniper, for sponsoring that. Seems like it's a fantastic addition to the NANOG portfolio. And obviously we have a very august group of connectivity, premium, and infrastructure sponsors here. This is a great group of companies that have been supportive of NANOG for a very long time, so thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Okay, and now a few words from Paul Szurek, the CEO of Coresight. Paul, come on up. Thank you. There you go.
Great to be here at NANOG 73. We've been at pretty much every NANOG. I think this is our first time as host sponsor, so thanks for bringing it to our hometown so we can enjoy that role. Technology change, the pace of it is just fascinating. When I started my professional career in 1984, commercial email was rare. A surprising amount of business was still done with paper. And the concept that you could have a very small handheld telephone was seen about as realistic as Maxwell Smart's shoe phone. Yet by 2000, IT and networks had become so critical that many people feared the so-called Y2K bug would lead to the apocalypse. I'm sure many of you, like me, spent New Year's Day 2000 in a data center somewhere just in case all the advanced preparations didn't work. The iconic images at the turn of the millennium seem antiquated now. Desktop PCs with CD drives, bulky iPods instead of streaming music. Instead of everything on one smartphone, you had a flip phone, a BlackBerry, a digital assistant, or a PDA. Almost needed a toolkit to take care of it all. AOL was dominant, and email was still kind of this novelty for personal communications. Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks were able to do an entire romantic comedy around the concept of receiving email. And yet, an incredibly popular show like Friends could go 10 years constantly showing scenes from a coffee shop without a laptop ever showing up. Games, Nintendo 64 came out around that time, took game playing to a whole new level, I confess. I enjoyed my share of it. Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. But compared to today's games, they seem almost primitive. In fact, all of this seems kind of antiquated. The one constant, thankfully, humans seem to keep their fashion and their brand. Britney is still singing somewhere. I think Dylan, Willie. I think even the Stones are still singing. So that's encouraging. Moving to numbers, it gets pretty serious. Since the millennium, and by the way, Coresight was founded right after we got through Y2K in 2001. Since the millennium, the world population has grown 1.5 billion, or 25%. The amount of connected devices has increased 17,800 from 129 million to 23 billion. There's almost 4 connected devices for every person on the planet. Global internet traffic has grown from something like 75 petabytes in 2000 to 122 exabytes in 2017. And it's forecasted to go to 14 zettabytes by 2025, just enormous. And that's partly a function of how many things are being connected. Houses, cars, cities, phones, wearables, you name it. I'm sure all of us have something, even in our animals, that are connected to something. So just generates enormous amounts of data. To make this possible, a lot of hurdles had to be overcome, and I'm sure many of you in this room are part of that. Cost of computing, cost of connectivity, cost of data analytics, all of these things came down. Engineering continues to make enormous strides. It's just hard to imagine all of this. I couldn't have imagined it all in 1984. What's driving this is consumer demands for better performance. Aberdeen Group has shown that 25% of consumers will turn off an app if it takes more than 3 seconds to respond. 48% will uninstall an app that is consistently slow. And businesses using technology services follow the same kind of trends, and they want more and faster and better constantly. The global pressure on IT infrastructure and internet infrastructure is tremendous. Fortunately, there are a lot of different ways to deal with it. One I'll mention just as an example of the creativity of the technology industry, the hybrid cloud environment, where companies can marry the best of what they do with the best of products that they can use from multiple cloud providers, and along with networks can drive those products globally. I mean, I'm stunned at the very interactive consumer-facing applications that companies are able to move into non-US markets without establishing their own data center footprint, merely through their cloud or through other network options. This chart for hybrid cloud infrastructure looks complicated, but can be executed much more quickly for many companies and allow them to partner better with other companies than if they have to go out and set up a data center in every region of the world where they want to operate. Coresight has kind of built its model, and we've experienced this in firsthand. Our data centers are network dense, they're cloud enabled. And so what we see in our data centers are communities of companies coming together and working together and using each other's strengths to accelerate the products that they're able to generate and propagate globally. In 2001, we were a single data center carrier hotel in Los Angeles. Since that time, we've grown almost entirely through development or redevelopment to 21 data centers in 8 markets, and almost all of that construction has been to expand the campuses where we operate to keep up with customer demand, to be close to other customers, and that's fun. It's fun to be part of building communities. In that time, we've grown from a few dozen customers to almost 1,300 customers, and our cross connects, a rapidly increasing share of data exchange, as you all know, is taking place via internal cross connects, have more than doubled to almost 26,000. And so it's been exciting to be along part of this ride, the growth of this industry, and at the rate things are accelerating. If I were to give this speech in another 10 years, I just can't imagine what I'd be talking about. But it's great to be a part of it, great to have all you here to celebrate what's going on. Thank you. Before I leave, I do want to encourage everybody, please, to come to our event at Blue Moon Brewing tonight at 7 p.m. There are handouts at registration with information for the shuttles to get you to and from Blue Moon Brewing. It'll be a great experience. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
I think you can hear me all. Hey, just on a personal note, I actually am from Denver, so a Denverite. I want to welcome you all to the Mile High City. So I hope you enjoy this place. So just a couple things, though, and I'm not an infomercial on Denver, by the way, but I'm passionate about the city. So Denver, the Buell Theater of Performing Arts is about a block and a half away, really cool. So as you're enjoying everything that NANOG has to offer, check that out. And just one tidbit of information, the mountains are always west. So if you get lost, look for the mountains and you'll find yourself. All right, so, but enjoy. Hey, I just want to say thank you. And so my name is Bob Leitner, by way of introduction. I work for Verizon Partner Solutions. Verizon Partner Solutions is the connectivity sponsor for NANOG 73. We are so proud to have this opportunity and to be the connectivity sponsor. And it does not come without a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen too. So just a lot of the people that contribute, I just want to say thank you for that. So a couple things about what I do. So I'm in product marketing. I support all of our IP data networking products and services globally. And so I oversee private IP, of course, IP transit or internet dedicated, our broadband products and strategy and all those types of things. And for many of you, you might be familiar with who Verizon is. But you know, Verizon really has a very good, solid IP network and has certainly grown a lot over the years. You're probably very familiar with UUNET, the lineage and the foundation associated with that. And that's AS701, AS702, 3, and 15144 out of Latin America. But you know, over the years, we've kind of built on this too with Verizon Wireless. So that's about 115 million subscribers or eyeballs on that. Certainly Fios. They all are basically descendants in using AS701. But certainly the acquisition of XO has been a tremendous asset to us, and very, very happy about that. But then you think about Yahoo, and you think about some of these other things that we've acquired. They all use IP networks and certainly connect with a lot of you today. So with that, though, Verizon's in the business of connecting people, places, and things securely and reliably, and that's what we do. And I think when you consider the fact that we have about all these assets in our IP networking kind of family of networks, we have about 3.1 billion subscribers that use a variety of different IP data networks. Yahoo, of course, being the largest, Verizon Wireless, Fios, IP Transit, and a lot of other things. So, you know, Verizon has a lot to offer. Now, with a lot of the connectivity that we have for this show, I just want to share a couple things as to what the connectivity looks like. You know, you might remember when we were all together a year ago, Verizon Partner Solutions was the connectivity sponsor for NANOG 69, and that was a tiered 500 meg service. So now we've kind of added a little bit more to this, and we have dual 1 gig circuits now supporting this event. Certainly, I think at NANOG 69, that was right around 750 or 800 people that attended. Now, wow, 1,000 of us. That's fantastic. And so with that, we're basically coming from the Hyatt Regency here in Denver through our Noga Perkins 9145E. Then we have the dual 1 gig circuits coming back to our IP node, which is Denver 4 on 6th Avenue. And then that dumps directly into our AS701 network. So again, I just want to say thank you, NANOG. We have a great partnership, and we are so happy to be the connectivity sponsor. Enjoy our service and have a great event. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, you're good. There you go.
Hey, hear me? Perfect. My name is Ryan Woolley. I'm the chair of NANOG's program committee. The content you're about to see over the next 3 days is entirely peer-reviewed. There are 20 members of the program committee who've worked with speakers to solicit, refine, review, and rate talks to ensure that everything that you see is technically accurate and is really a fantastic program. The agenda is available online, so I think we have a total of 21 talks as well as the hackathon that occurred yesterday. You can see the agenda in Guidebook as well if you have that on your phone. The vast majority of the content is available for remote viewing as well, so if you have a colleague who's not able to attend, you can point them to the live stream. All the presentation materials for the speakers, or most of them, will be available also on the agenda, so they'll be linked out if you'd like to take a look at them later. The room that you're in right now, unless you're viewing remotely, is Centennial Ballroom, and this is hosting everything except for one event, the public speaking forum. General sessions will be here, and we'll also have beer and gear here on Tuesday night. Just outside is the breaks and espresso bar, and one room up is going to be all of our meals. Tonight, as was previously mentioned, we have a social at the Blue Moon Brewery and one on Tuesday at Cowboy Lounge. Please do fill out surveys. We actually do read these. They are valuable input for the staff and for the program committee to see what you like and what we can change and make better in the future. You'll also have an opportunity to win a gift. There are 2 iPads and 1 Apple Watch available, so please fill those out, help us out, and get a chance to win something. As per the email that was sent out yesterday, we're taking submissions for lightning talks as well. These will be presented at 3 p.m. on Tuesday and 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. There are 3 per day, 10-minute talks, and you can go to pc.nanog.org to submit a talk if you haven't already done so, if you have something that you'd like. A word on the microphones. They're placed throughout the room here, so as soon as a speaker is finished and ready for questions, if you have questions for them, you can line up at the microphone. Please wait to be acknowledged and state your name and affiliation. Remain in the microphone until you've got your answer, please. And in general, please be respectful to all of the attendees at NANOG. And thanks very much for everyone involved.